question here is not really a financial question. You know, I remember an interview with Ross Perot about 20 years ago. He was asked, how do you cut down on wasting government? He said something very interesting. He said there are about 100,000, maybe even over 100,000 people whose jobs it is to make the government look good, the public relations officers. And I thought, you know, that's kind of an odd statement because I've met some public information officers, and they're good people, and it's their job to get out information in a fair and neutral and transparent way. And so I thought that was just kind of a misfire. But after that, I went to Washington, D.C., and I briefly worked as a press secretary, and I came to realize there is something odd about some communications officers, because some of them are charged with working for a particular congressman or a particular department of the federal government, and they seem to confuse their first mission, which is to let the public find out about what's going on, with a mission that they acquire over time, which is to make the boss look good. And it's really very important that we separate those two things, and we make sure that whenever something takes place with taxpayer money, our only goal needs to be transparency, openness, getting information out to the public. Let me read you another statement from this release that he issued yesterday. He said, the office, instead of merely distributing information, we believe it's our responsibility to advocate for our membership and communicate on their behalf to the news media, our various constituencies, and the public at large. Well, according to the statement, Wills thinks that the House has a point of view that's different from its members, that deserves respect and institutional and taxpayer support. Well, I think that this is a big mistake. In fact, the House has exactly 100 points of view over there that deserve respect. There is no 101st view. There is no view of the entire House. And the idea that somehow taxpayers ought to be supporting the view of the majority of the House or the consensus of the House or the whole of the House, that's a large mistake. And I think that a more distressing possibility is that the Speaker thinks that there aren't 100 views which need institutional support, but really only one view, and that's the view of the majority or the leadership or something like that. And I think this underscores that when we get to the point where the Speaker has made several statements and they're misunderstood or have to be clarified, especially in a very delicate matter like this, I think the Speaker needs to be much more careful in his statements about the House Information Office, because it's so important to underscore the House Information Office needs to be neutral and nonpartisan and not show favoritism. I've talked to many, many Republicans, and I'd say I've heard from, the vast majority of Republicans who are really dismayed by the events of the last 24 hours. But no, I don't know any Republicans. I don't know of any Republicans who I've talked to who said this is a good idea. Presumably there must be one.
So what would you like to see happen? Would you like to see the contract canceled with Craig Douglas?
Well, I think the most important thing the Speaker can do, and I mean, I think myself as friends with the Speaker, he and I have talked about this, I think he might even agree with this. I think the most important thing that the Speaker can do is be really clear and really precise that the office is going to be neutral and nonpartisan, is not going to favor one member's interests over the other. And we had to talk about that this afternoon, because again, I respect the Speaker. It's the Speaker's position that he's been widely misquoted and widely misunderstood in the media. And that's fine, and people do get misquoted and misunderstood in the media. But the problem comes when you have repeated statements from the Speaker that are misunderstood and misinterpreted in the same way. And so it's my hope that the Speaker will be considerably more careful and will underscore the immense importance of making sure that the office stays neutral and nonpartisan. And I believe he will. And if it doesn't, I suppose we will have to take a look at legislative remedies next year.